Welcome back, everybody. It's time to look for new positions and track some more transactions, so let's get right to it. Today we're starting a new wheel series on SoFi. Last time we did Apple and we needed about $27,000 in collateral, which is quite a bit of money. But today on SoFi, we're only going to need about $1,500, so we'll be able to show you how the wheel tracking works on a smaller account, on a more affordable stock. And we're going to basically still do a 4-part series. We're going to execute it in ThinkorSwim, and we're going to track everything in the web application, MyATMM.com. But the more important thing is however you want to run the wheel is fine, but you can still track it all in the web application. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go over to ThinkorSwim. And here I am logged into ThinkorSwim. I'm in their on-demand series. We are going to be simulating back on June 9th. It's a Monday of 2005, or sorry, wow, not 2005, 2025, just last year. So we're basically here starting at right before market open, and we're going to be selling close to an at-the-money cash secured put. So let's go ahead and start it, see where it opens up at. And so there it goes. It opens up at 1440-ish around there. So what we want to do is sell a cash secured put at the money. And I normally go by whatever has the most extrinsic value. And right now, the 1450 has the extrinsic value that we're looking for, has more than the $14 one. So what you want to do is just left click on the bid, which will bring up the sell. And it's 57.59. We're going to go ahead and go up 1 penny to the mark, which is the midpoint. We're going to go ahead and click confirm and send it off. And hopefully it'll fill here. On demand's being a little sluggish today. Interesting. If you want to like force it, you can change it to a penny less. See if that one fills. Interesting. On demand normally isn't this problematic about filling orders. So this is interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and lower it again. See if we can get this thing to fill. Keep on lowering it. Oh, wow. See, look at that. It dropped down to 47 cents. Jeez. What is going on? Well, I'm going to pull out the nuclear option. I'm going to stop messing with this thing. We're going to just say market, see what it gives us. That fills. But what did it fill for? That's the other question. That's never happened. Look at that. It's still filled for around 52. So that's kind of interesting to note and kind of point out. In ThinkorSwim, if the premiums are fighting you with the specific limit amount you're looking for and you just want the order to fill and you're tired of messing with it, you can always actually just put in a market order, which will force it to fill immediately at whatever the market rate is. You do, of course, run the risk of the fact that you might not get near the amount that you were looking for. But in this case, this is coming up on the next Friday, coming up Friday, only 4 days away. The strike price is only $14.50 and we're getting 53 cents. So that's like what, like 4%, 4 or 5% in just 1 week. So that's not too bad at all. So in any case, we executed it, finally got it to fill, and now we need to go over to the web application and track that transaction. I'm actually kind of glad that ThinkorSwim gave us all those issues with getting that order to fill, because it allowed me to show you how you would go about adjusting your order, quickly, and then, pulling out a nuclear option of just getting it to fill because it kept on fighting us on the premium price. So I'm actually really glad it did that. It allowed me to show you what you could do in those scenarios to get it to fill. But in any case, here we are logged into the web application, myatmm.com. We are in a demo SoFi portfolio, and it has nothing in this. Counts a brand new portfolio. So what we need to do first is go ahead and add some money in here, and we'll just name it initial deposit. And we can't spell very well, apparently. There we go. And the paper money account always puts $100,000 in there. So I'll go ahead and just stick to that amount. So there we go. We got our initial 100,000. If you come back over to the summary, you can see that. And to track this transaction, what you need to do is go to the cost basis page. We do not have any tickers in here, so we need to go ahead and add one. And we'll type in SoFi. It doesn't have to be uppercase. It'll force it to uppercase for you. You can put uppercase if you want. It doesn't matter. Click save. And there we go. We have the ticker in here, and now we need to add the position. So what did we do? We sold a cash secured put. So we need to click new position. The date on that was June 9th, right? June 9th, I think. Yeah. So we need to go back several months, back to June 2025. There we go, June 2025, June 9th. It was a sell to open. It was a put. We did one contract. The expiration date was that June 9th Friday expiration. So let's just go back to June 9th and we can figure out what that expiration was. There we go. It was June 13th is the expiration on that. And since it's obviously expired, the UI knows that that date's in the past, so it automatically highlights it red for you. But we're doing this virtually, so we can just run with it. The strike for that was $14.50. The premium we received for it was 52 cents per share, which is $52 total. And so, okay, I said 4 or 5%. I was a little high. It's actually 3.59% ROI to be exact. So, sorry, I had to clear my throat. Okay. So now we can click save. And before I do, I just want to say, after this is right now in a draft position, as soon as I click saved, it's going to move into the calls expandable group here. So I'm going to click save. You'll see this number increment to 1. And I said calls, my bad. I meant puts. We're selling a put. I don't know what I was thinking. So put it into the puts collection, and you can see it says one expired contract. Again, the UI reacts to the fact that that option is in the past. So it says it's expired. So it's just notifying us of that, and it still shows the red. But we're doing this virtually to basically demo the application. All right. So now we have that cash secured put tracked. And if we come up, before I move on, I almost forgot. This is also a point of contention. Adding the position is the first step in this. After you add the position, you need to add the transaction to the permanent transaction history. So there's always two parts. There's the positions and then there's the transactions. And the reason why it's separated like that is because the position just has the premium and the strike and the stuff like that, the high level information that you need. But there's more to it than that. When the transaction actually hits the ledger in the account statement, there's commissions and fees, and even other brokers like Robinhood is a really great example because they say it's free. It's actually not free. They actually do charge fees on there, but they're just like pennies, but they still do charge it. So if you're like trying to get your full brokerage balance to match exactly, it'll never match exactly unless if you're accounting for those fees that it's taking out. And I don't know if they've improved this, but back when I used Robinhood a lot, you had to wait a day or two for the transaction to actually fill, and then you had to pull down the PDFs of the account statements, and those would actually show you the penny fees that they were taking out on each transaction. It was a big pain in the butt. That's one of the big reasons why I left, because I like to make sure the numbers matched exactly, and I could never get it to happen on Robinhood, not without waiting a day or two. They may have fixed that and allowed you to have it more real time, but I'm not sure on that. I haven't looked in like a year or so. But in any case, ThinkorSwim, Schwab, and Ameritrade, back when I first started using it, they show you the commissions and fees immediately, right after you do the transaction. So I could reconcile it immediately. But in any case, the position, that's why they're separate. That's why the position has the high level information. And then down when you're adding to the transaction, you can actually account for the commissions and fees down here. That's why it's two separate parts. I know it makes it a little bit more confusing, but that was what I had to do to keep it accurate. So down here, it moved a proposed transaction down here for us, kept the description. We pull in a default commission because that's what Schwab charges us. Sometimes it's 65 cents. Over in Tasty Trades, $1 because they only do $1 for both sides, but they charge you the full dollar up front, and their fees are different. But Schwab's fees are about a penny. But in any case, this gives me the ability to adjust it to something else. if I need to before I actually record the permanent transaction history. So that's what this default is. I'm going to go ahead and accept it, click copy down to this add new transaction, and we'll click add, and that will add it to our permanent transaction history. And it's the real amount, $51.49, not the $52 that we received total. Let's see. Okay, and once you have the transaction saved correctly to the transaction history, you can scroll back up to the top and look at the summary on this position. So you can see we have 100 shares secured by collateral, and the collateral amount that we had to put up for this was $1,450. This is the credits we received, less the commissions and fees. And currently we have no cost basis because we own those shares. The puts are there, so we actually do have cost basis with puts. This is just like a preemptive number that basically shows you what your cost basis would be if you were assigned those puts. That's what this number represents here. And there is no dividend information coming up. The last price on this was $17.76. Again, because that's real time last price. So currently, as of March, it looks like it's trading around $17.76, but we did this virtually back in June, so it was back at $14.50. So that number is misleading for real-time data. All right, so let's go over to the dashboard and we can see what how the numbers have changed. So total brokerage is the 100,000 plus the credits that we received. We already saw the collateral, already saw the credits, but it was just off that one calculation, or that one option that we sold. And this is the capital left, which basically is showing you how much capital you have left because you have 1450 accounted for already. And if we come over to the performance tab, yeah, that shows the deposit here. And I've done that again. I did that last time too, I believe, where it messed it up. What I needed to do is come back to the deposit, because I made the deposit as of today, but we're doing this virtually, so it makes more sense to put it back in June. Yeah, right there. Save there. Now we come over to performance tab. You can see it doesn't have 2026 anymore because these transactions are back in 2025. So there we can see the full $100,000 deposit we just made, the premium, no dividends, and the performance so far is 0.1%. And that's another little thing about this. It takes the average of the previous month and this month to figure out what the performance is, which is a little misleading, obviously, because we have because we don't have a previous month. So it's really 0.1% of $50,000. So anyway, that wraps up the first part in the series. In the next part, we'll see what happens when the put, if it expires in the money, if it gets assigned, how we will then own the shares, and how we will track that in MyATMM, and how we handle the transition over to do the next part in the series. Until then. I want to thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and go out today to MyATMM.com and get your free account so you can start tracking your own transactions. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.